Jackie Laurie Kilmartin.
Hi, Laurie.
Long day, Jackie Cation.
Long day. Flew in from our nation's capital. It is now 1:00 in the morning in my brain.
Oh my God.
And
You switch over so quickly.
I got there. Remember, I got there on like Wednesday.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah.
You had to do media.
Because the flight wouldn't get me there in time to do a live Dork Forest. Live Dork Forest, by the way, book this thing. Okay, this is the DC Comedy Loft.
Yeah.
Which was super fun.
Cool.
And I don't know if you saw my Instagram. It's an old building, like a 200-year-old, like German Rothskeller kind of thing.
Wow.
So it's all this like low ceilinged with all these old timey like tchotchke bullshit on the walls, and then they've covered them with posters of comics. It's so funny because I think that there's 2 posters of me because they've canceled my week 3 times in the last 2.5 years. We finally did it because there wasn't an Omicron or a Delta or a COVID or a thing.
Yeah.
And so Thursday, I'd forgotten 3 years ago when we first booked this that there was a live Dork Forest. There was supposed to be a live Dork Forest, and so I didn't have a guest. I forgot to bring recording equipment. So we recorded.
No one reminded you?
It was probably on the deal memo. I'm sure it was on the deal memo.
I've never read a deal memo in my life.
It's the gig sheet, very fancy, and I dropped the ball. But they dropped the ball too because they didn't really remind me. And they also didn't tell me which airport to fly into. So I flew into the one that's far away instead of the one that's close.
Oh.
I flew into Dulles instead of Reagan.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody laughed and laughed. all the locals, they laughed and laughed. And I was like, except for my ride this morning to Dulles was nice. I had an Ethiopian driver, guy from Ethiopia, and we talked about, because I did an armed forces entertainment thing.
Yeah.
And we had to fly through Ethiopia, and he was like, "Oh, I was just there to visit my son." And I was like, "How old are you?" And
how old was he?
He was 33. His son is 6.
No.
He used a condom. It broke. He didn't marry the woman. His family would like him to marry her posthumously. They're not.
Well, Jackie, and if you'd flown into Reagan, you would not have gotten that story.
Right. And I wouldn't want to go out for Ethiopian food this week. Because
why?
Because I like Ethiopian food. I was with April Macy and Alicia Cooper and Vargas Mason, and we were flying through. We were going to Djibouti, and the layover was in Ethiopia, and I wanted Ethiopian food in Ethiopia, even if it was airport food. But we were trapped in this like glass box of a waiting room, and so I went up to the soldier police guy who had a machine gun, and I said, "Can I just go there and get a food?" And he looked at me, and everyone looks at me and goes, "What's she gonna do? Kill us all?" No, sure, of course you can. And of course you can. Come back. And I said, "Do you want anything?" He did not. So it turns out he was at work.
So hard not to make a Djibouti joke.
Oh, it was very hard, but they had so been covered.
Yeah.
So there was no way to even do it, right?
The Djibouti had been covered. I mean, even your explanation, it just opens it up for a lot of comics.
Right. When I talked about going to Djibouti, and I think it was on Hero or Horcrux, I forget what album. I say the word Djibouti, and then I pause, and then I say, "Insert your own joke into the Djibouti." Because what am I, made of stone?
Come on, man.
Come on, man.
You're not made of stone. You're human.
I am human,
just like the rest of us.
But the club itself is so, it's sort of old school, right? Like there's a downstairs where they have a small stage that a lot of the local comics. Both of my openers were women. And the MC hilariously filthy. Like we were
not allowed to be filthy. We were
such different comics. It was such a delight to work with these two women.
Yeah.
And it was her name was Christine O'Day was the MC, and we could do I'm gonna posit the feature as the comic of the week so we can save that for later. But it was really and it was super fun. The hotel, they own the hotels. So they put you up at it's like a boutique hotel. They own like 3. The club itself is a historical building, so they can't change the outside of it. But the top 4 floors are hotel rooms.
It has nothing to do with the hotel chain, the Loft, right? Or Loft?
Nope. Loft? No.
Okay.
At all. And because that is a boutique hotel as well. But that they're doing a lot of things with geometrics at Lofts. But they too don't have a bathtub, which was kind of irritating to me. But
none of these hotels are having bathtubs anymore. They're taking them out. It's a liability issue.
I don't know that that's true. Where did you hear that?
I
did you read an article? Oh no,
I assumed it because you can slip in a bathtub way easier than you can if you're doing a walk-in shower, you're much less likely to fall and hurt yourself. Versus
that's speculative fiction. I think
it's not fiction. That's actually true. That's why a lot of old people take their tubs out. That's why I took the tub out.
Right, but there aren't a lot of old people at hotels, though, are there? I don't know that that's true. That I assume that they do it, and I don't know either. So God knows why they're doing it. I assume they did it because they could put because it's square footage. It's a lot less space.
No, it doesn't. It takes the same space. Unless
you put a shower in,
you have like a little square shower. Are you talking? Because if they have a handicap shower, that actually takes more space than a tub.
That is true. This is a good one. Let's keep talking about it because it's got a lot of potential. But it was
I'm outraged that you called me a liar for bringing up a good point. That old people can't step. I witnessed it in real life. They can't step over the bathtub railing.
I'm just saying that I don't know how many. I was hoping to look for a source. I don't know if you were ever in debate class, but I like to check people's sources, and so I thought maybe you had read a powerful article in the Atlantic. I don't know.
If I had lied and just said I read an article, this could have been avoided. Good
to
know.
I will check your sources. I will. There will be some checking of sources, but it was really. But it was kind of I got there late on Wednesday night, so Thursday I spent most of the day in the hotel room, just sort of writing a set list, chilling out, and then and then I think it was Thursday I did the Dork Forest with the feature, and her dorkdom hilariously was Super Bowl halftime shows.
Yeah.
And it was kind of hilarious. I really hope that I haven't listened to the audio yet because we just did essentially voice memo. It'll be like an old school. I don't know if Patrick Brady will be able to fix the audio, but he can give it a shot. And I don't know. And then and then so I went to I got to wander around DC a little bit. I want to go to everybody who lives there loves it.
Yeah, I would love to spend some time there. Yeah.
Yeah. And the owner of the club, she drove me to I did local TV like Good Morning Washington.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I mean, Biden could have been watching you. Kamala.
Could have been. All I know is one of the talking head to host guys was from Wisconsin, so he was pretty excited to. And I was like, all right. I mean, you got to do something in the morning. Be excited. And so the Dork Forest, super lightly attended, but very fun, quite honestly. And but the shows were actually not bad because they had just lifted the mask mandate.
Oh, right.
And so more people were coming out.
Yeah.
And so the crowds were great. Saturday first show ended up, a caricature of how great it was.
Yeah.
But second show Friday and second show Saturday, both nice crowds, but weirdly enough, kind of a slog. I was tired for some reason.
Yeah.
So I was just kind of plugging along, doing the jokes.
Right. Did you do any touristy stuff?
I did yesterday. I went to the African American Museum.
Oh, neat. I heard that's
Yeah,
hard
yeah.
to get to. Did you have to get tickets in advance or?
Well, I stood there and I signed up for the next hour, and it was pretty good. They were like, hours were full, but if you if you could hang out for 45 minutes, you could get in.
I guess I heard that from before COVID, actually. I guess everything's different now.
Yeah, I think so too. And but it was nicely attended. Everything was pretty crowded. And then I think yesterday I went to lunch with a fan of this show, Carol Blymeyer.
Oh, nice.
Remember her? Yeah.
Yes.
And hello. We went to Kramer's, one of the I went to several old restaurants that the manager guy was like, you should go to Annie's, which is like a steak and egg place, steak joint that's been there for a couple hundred years. And then I went to this Kramer's place, which is also a bookstore, and I bought another nonfiction book. I might become a person who reads nonfiction. We don't know. I have a lot of them. Yeah. But this is a biography of Louise Fitzhugh. Did you ever read Harriet the Spy?
Maybe I read one or two.
No, there's only one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was written in 1964.
Then yes, I did.
It's it literally blew my mind when I was 11. Yeah. So it was an amazing book, and there's never been any information about her because she was a secret lesbian.
Oh.
And couldn't tell anyone. Publishers were like, nope. It's never going to come out. But she was also an artist, and she wrote other books, and she collaborated on stuff. So, but the dust jacket of the Harriet the Spy, it was just this weird picture of her, and it always said she's single and she lives in New York City. 1964. But yeah, I loved Harriet the Spy. It was
that didn't spin off into a series, Harriet the Spy?
I think it was a TV. Oh, I think it was a movie. I think they just made a movie about it.
Did she make a lot of money, Louise?
She did. She did pretty well with it, actually. And
good to hear.
Right, and left it to her last girlfriend. Yeah, left all of her money to her last girlfriend. So well, that's kind of nice. But I'm looking forward to the book. The book is just the preface was fascinating. So yeah.
I couldn't finish this one book I was reading. It was a collection of essays, and then I was like, God, this thing's hard to get through. It was really good, and then it was confusing, and so then I started reading reviews, and I'm like, oh, I'm not allowed. I read as much as I could, and then my dog started eating it. I don't want to say because I didn't finish it, and it's not, the writer's not dead or anything, but I was just like,
right. You don't want to badmouth a book that had so much promise.
So much of it was good, and then because he would write in characters, and so I'd start reading again. And I'm like, wait, what character is he in now? And it wasn't like written super clearly, which is sort of dreamlike. So it was something that you needed to read on a beach in the East Coast where you wouldn't want to go in the water, like you just sit in an Adirondack and in a cozy sweater and read it, and you could just totally pay attention. And I just got tired of every night going, wait, where am I? Who is this? What am I reading? So I gave up, but only at the very end. Like I was like, I think I got this. And I read the last page. I was like, yeah, I got it. And then I had this other novel I started it's really good, but it's got one of those titles that it's like got the word hill and gold in it. It's one of those titles where you're like, 7 of the words could be switched around and it would still have the same meaning. But it's very good about the Old West. And so that's what I'm reading. I also had an interesting driver this weekend, Jackie.
Oh, I saw a little bit of it on the Twitter. So you flew into, where'd you fly into? Because you did West Bend, right?
Yeah, I flew into Milwaukee, and I did shows in West Bend. Great theater, great place. They have lifted their mask non-mandate in Milwaukee and in Wisconsin. So anyway, I get there. I get to the airport, and they have a driver for me. Totally nice gig, great gig at the West Theater. I'll tell you about in a sec. I got to get to this driver. So the driver is like at least 65. Like this guy, if anyone should be worried about getting COVID, it's this guy, right?
Right. Just old Wisconsin white dude.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
Very nice guy. Very nice guy. And so I got my mask on, and I'm waiting for my bags to come out, and he comes at me with an open palm for a handshake, which I don't do anymore. FYI, I don't touch anyone's fucking palm ever again, right? So I go in with a fist bump, and he's like, "Oh, okay," and he recalibrates. So now you, as a driver, have two clues about your passenger: they're masked and they fist bumped you instead of touching you. So to me, that's information of, oh, this person is paranoid or normally or worried about COVID, as I should be, but I'm not, right? So doesn't pick up on any. We get in the car, he goes, "You don't have to wear your mask." And I said, "Well, I think I'll wear my mask. Thanks." Because he wasn't wearing his, right? I opened the window, and then he goes, "I saw this video where this engineer was measuring the carbon monoxide in a mask when a child wears it." And I go, and I was so, I wasn't fun. Like I was so fucking pissed. I said, I go, "Excuse me, time out." I go, "My mom died of COVID. I don't want to hear your fucking bullshit."
There you go. Just call it like it is.
Yep.
That's awesome.
He goes, "I'm so sorry." And then there was like a 15-second pause where I'm just looking out the window, and I'm like, this will be the drive. I don't give a fuck. And I have no desire to make him feel better or make anything easier. And he goes, "So is this your first time in Wisconsin?"
Which I think that long pause and then new conversation, instead of realizing that's another red flag of guess who doesn't want to chat for the next 35-40 minutes. Why do you where are you from? What's your
my God.
Stop. What size shoe do you wear? Fuck off.
Then he tried to roll the window up, and I go, "I want it down." And he goes, "Oh, sorry, I thought it was a mistake." I'm like, "No, I don't want to breathe your air." And you're probably not, like, I couldn't even, I was so mad I couldn't. Right. I know people that would go, "Oh, this is an opportunity to talk to someone and be patient," but I'm not that person. On stage, like if I'm on stage and you're being a dumb shit, I'm very patient because I know I'm gonna get laughs out of you. Okay, so I'll fucking wait as long as I have to, but not in this situation. I just wanted to strangle him. And,
and did he really say monoxide, not dioxide?
I think so. I think he said monoxide, but also I was so at this point.
No, you couldn't. You were mad about something
dioxide,
else.
But I was like, right. And because this guy didn't kill my mother, but somebody like him did. That's how I feel about those people, and that's how I will always feel about them. Somebody who was careless and didn't give a fuck did this. Okay. So anyway, so he drops me off. And, there's no other conversation, but he's very nice, and he goes, I think I'm taking you back on Sunday. And I'm like, "Oh, great. Can't wait. And he did. And
was it him? Okay.
Yeah, this morning he picked me up in a stretch limo. So there was like at least 10 feet between us, which I think that his nod to my paranoia.
Social distancing. You were socially distanced inside the stretch limo.
Yeah.
Which is good. Good. That's great. Yeah. How far was that ride from Billy Mitchell to?
An hour, maybe?
Yeah, because West Bend's not close.
No, it's not. And it's a cute little town, but I'll tell you what, so I get there on Friday night and the show's Saturday night. And the hotel is clean and crisp, and it's white bed cover and white sheets. So I'm like, that's my favorite kind of bed to just be in, you know? And so all day Saturday, I didn't leave the hotel. I sat in the bed, and I had my little notebook out, and I had papers out, and I was listening to sets and writing tags. Because also I haven't done a headlining set since the Comedy Attic in January. So that's what is it? That's like 6 weeks. of just doing 10 or 12-minute sets, you need
Oh,
to
I
get
know.
back in your rhythm again, right?
Oh yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm like, oh, I gotta fucking memorize this shit, and what's this joke and all this stuff. And then the new stuff I'm working on, I had new ideas for it, so my head is all flooded with old stuff I gotta remember.
Right,
and
it's a
new stuff I wanna
mess.
try.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a mess.
It's a puzzle, and you're just like, I have to figure out where all this
Pieces
stuff
are
goes.
everywhere, right?
Yep.
And it's something where like this should be a Thursday show where I could fuck around, and then
But you got one and done, right?
one and done. It's a
Yeah.
Saturday show, so I wish it was a longer gig, but whatever. But also, if I had been headlining last weekend, it would have been no problem,
Yeah, right.
So the show is great. Rachel Mack, do you remember Rachel Mack? You just worked with her.
Yeah,
so
totally.
There, she got a baby, and she was hilarious. And
she is hilarious. Yeah.
Reagan, I'll get her last name, but she's also great. And Judd, who was also there. It was just really fun show. And so it's a theater, which is different from a club, right? Got a different vibe. You got the upper deck, you got the lower deck and stuff like that. And then there was some resistance from Wisconsin audience on some jokes that I didn't have in Madison, right?
Oh, right. All you got to do is
but also
15 minutes out of town.
Yeah, I'm a little in my head because I'm like, oh, I'm rusty. I've lost it. I'm not, I get in that. So I'm like, get out of your head and just whatever. And so I get to the point where I'm going to do my last bit, and it feels like the audience were in and out, right? Like I do some stuff, like they love it. And then I do stuff that might be a little reveal my liberal, persona, real person, whatever. I can't speak now. And they would kind of pull back a little bit, not everyone, but enough where I would be like, okay, they're like, I could
feel some of them tighten up or something. Yeah.
Growing suspicious. Like they would love me and be like, oh, she's one of us. And then be like, wait a minute, what? Right. So I sense that like it would go in and out. And so I get to the last chunk I'm going to do. And it's about breast reduction, so it always works, right?
Yeah.
Boobies always work. Right?
Yeah.
So
it's your titty joke. Bring it.
Right. But the thing before was climate change, right? And so what? Climate
Polar
change?
bears?
That's not real. So I was like, fuck it. I go, you know what? I don't feel like this show's done yet. So I just started doing crowd work, like not even tied to I'm like, I'm not letting you guys go. This show doesn't feel right. And I'm not letting you go till it's done. So I did 15 or 20 minutes of just talking to people in the front row, which they loved. People love to be paid attention to,
Sure they do.
And then I did my
I'm not in that industry. So whatever. So yeah.
But then I did my last bit and got up, and it was fine.
That's awesome.
But I did like an hour
great.
and 7, which I never do. But
right.
I felt like, and I didn't have there wasn't another show coming in. And it was just like, I was like, this is my show. And I don't like how it's ending, so I'm going to change the ending.
Yeah. I've been running about an hour 2, hour 5.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And because I'm trying to do new stuff. And I feel like there's usually a handful of people or more that are in the audience that have heard all the jokes. So I'm like,
right.
Desperado, I need to tell you people some old jokes, some stories that, and I keep meaning to do that. I was talking to somebody. The gender thing has got a life of its own, and how
different is it from what's on the album now?
Yeah, it's got new angles and new, and I keep forgetting to do this other story that was in a solo show of mine 20 odd years ago when we were all doing solo shows, and I could resurrect that bad boy and dust that guy off and tighten it up and turn it into material. And the second shows felt like when this room is full, it's like Acme to some extent. It's like the punchline. It's like it seats about 200, and I think Saturday first show it had like $1.60 in, and it was shoulder to shoulder like 2019 in there. It was kind of creepy. But it popped, you know?
Yeah.
It was so much fun. And then the second show had a really great audience of about 50 or 60 people. But DC is also an early night town, right?
Yeah,
So they don't really,
that makes
they're-
sense.
yeah. And yeah, it was but it was really interesting to walk around a little bit. The hotel, the hotels are doing weird things where they're like, we're not doing these things because of COVID. And you're like, well, no, you're not doing those things because now you're saving money. And you don't have to
Right.
have a restaurant, or now you have a vending machine, or there's no shuttle, or there's, and there's no everyday towel service. Not that I ever want anyone to ever come into the room. I don't want
Right.
anyone to come in.
But it's like, it's airborne. We know it's airborne. So
Yeah.
I can have a towel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And but they were nice. I felt like I was very patient out in the world with people who, because their mask mandate got lifted. It was it was interesting. I wanted to work on the new stuff, but somebody somebody sent me a thing. They said, you got to do that spooky reading girl bit again. And I was like, no, I don't. But I understand what you're saying. And it has 1.6 million views on TikTok.
When did you put it?
Probably 4 months ago.
Oh my God. So do you think, God, I got to put stuff up on TikTok, I guess, right?
I guess. I mean, it's the only one that has that many. Some of them have hundreds and hundreds of thousands, like 500,000 or something, but I didn't see anything else that had over 1 million. That was insane. I was like, what? And
Wow.
so, and I sold some merch. I got, I moved some merch, which is always nice. And, but, yeah, on the whole, I'm kind of exhausted. It was, it was kind of a weird, because of going in early and doing the Dork Forest and then doing press and then trying to figure out how to get around Washington, D.C. when I've only been to D.C. maybe a handful of times. I did a comedy festival there probably 20 odd years ago.
Mhm.
And then about 3 or 4 years ago, I did a club that's now defunct. That was like an ale house. It also
Arlington.
It was in Arlington, but it was it was the offshoot one. It wasn't the main one.
I don't know which one I did, but I visited I went to the National Mall when I was there.
Yeah, when I did that one, I did get to go and I got to see like the World War II memorial, but I had never been to inside of any of the museums. So, and now I've only been inside the African American Museum, but I wanted to go inside the Native American Indian Museum, but I did not. Didn't make it.
Yeah, you only have so much time. I wish I had merch. I need merch, because that's where you get your tip money too.
That's where your tip money and lunch money. Yeah,
if I tip, it's coming from my ATM. So guess what? I'm not tipping that much. I'm not taking money out to tip, but merch money feels like free. Like, oh, here, you can have one. I got so many.
Right. It's
I got 8 over here.
It also feeds you, right? I mean, that's what it did back in the day. So what you need is some sort of, enamel pins. People love them. And as long as, and I actually, the new pitch I actually explained the challenge coin a little bit better because most people don't even know what it is.
Yeah.
And so I sold like 15 of them at $20 a pop.
Jesus.
So that was more than I've sort of got it down a little bit now to explain what they are. And so then people know what it is when they buy it. And they're like, well, that's silly and fun. And the one person did say to me, I would buy it, but I feel like I would just stick it in a drawer and never look at it. And I was like, yeah, then don't buy it. 'Cause you're right. Because if you're gonna do that, that would be you might as well light $20 on fire.
How much do you
So,
sell pins for? How much do people?
$10.
Okay.
Yeah.
Get to
And you got to make change, or because I have meat shield, I still have meat shield pins, because I'm trying to get rid of all the meat shield stuff so that I can phase it out
Mhm.
and make a last big donation to something, maybe the
Jackie, how much
Ukrainians.
you donated?
11 grand, but that's 5 years.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, to like, and they're mostly like Immigration Defense League, because
Mhm.
it was when Nobjob was in power,
Mhm.
and I was like, we got to help these people with
Mhm.
their legal problems on the border. So it's mostly that, though I think there was some like Abortion Access Front and
Yeah.
Planned Parenthood, a little bit of that, and then I think it was a couple of Black Lives Matters. So
Nice.
I tried to spread it around a little bit. Oh,
Yeah.
and then there was a women's it's a group that help women Muslims, Muslim women
Mhm.
Muslims. I'm a little sleepy.
Guys,
In
we've both flown for hours and hours today, and it's
oh my
like
gosh.
10:30 on a Sunday night. We can't kick this can down the road anymore. We have to do this podcast right fucking
Speaking of which, let's
Yay.
take a break.
now.
And I have to say that I want to talk about who opened for me, because she was so nice. She picked me up, and she just started doing stand up. It's Blair Postman, BLAIRE. There's an E on it. And then Postman is her last name, and it's at Postman Comedy on Instagram. It'll be in the notes. And she was my guest on the Dork Forest. And then we went and had dinner once, and she drove me around a little bit, and we and she was so freaking funny. She has so much energy, and she is just like, it was so great with Christine doing 10, and then Blair would do like 20, 25, and it was strong. And she has a one person, like a show that she tours with, and she does New York sometimes actually, but I think her website is like ADHD comedy.
Yeah.
And she's got some ADHD, you guys. And this is it isn't hobbyist either. This is real dyed in the wool. She's out there. She's it's on fire. And it's awesome to just to bask. When she did the Dork Forest, she did one of my favorite things, which is plug and play. That's my favorite thing with the Dork Forest. I'm like, what do you like? And then somebody talks about the Kennedys for an hour nonstop. It was great. That episode was a really great one. But those are my favorite episodes, right? I mean, I think, Kyle, you've done it a couple of times, haven't you?
I've actually only done once, because you've done mine, and our shows are kind of the same show, so it's easy to get confused.
That's right, because things are rad.
Yeah.
Things are also dorky.
Our original pitch was, we're just ripping off Dork Forest, but I'm there now.
Enjoy whenever
haunted
somebody
houses.
That's right, you did Halloween and haunted houses. Oh, it was a great one too. Yeah, that was amazing.
Somehow involved the Kennedys as well.
Oh, why wouldn't it?
Sure.
There's zombies, and it's I think that there's been some trouble in the water in the next generation. Isn't one of the Kennedys some sort of dirtbag?
One.
I don't know anything about the Kennedys.
Some are good and some are
Less.
Evil. Evil.
Yeah. Mhm.
All right. Well, good
Yeah.
to know.
But now we're getting like into great grandchildren of JFK now. So or that era, of those kids. I mean, it's a couple. There's a lot.
Hey, two of my nephews, their partners, their wives, partner people, have had babies. I got two new great nephews.
Oh, wow.
That gives me 6 great nephews and 1 great niece.
Oh
That
my
makes
God.
you a great aunt.
I'm a great aunt. And they named them with 2 E's. It's like Emery and Ellis, I think, are the boys' names.
Oh,
babies'
cool.
names. Yeah. Mixing it up.
Inside Job, have you seen it at all? It's an
Mm-mm.
animation. It's a cartoon, and
Okay.
it's and the one I watched with my son had like a massive, they have so many jokes that, I mean, I'm just explaining everything to them, but they had it had a thing of clone, like JFK clones. And there were so many like jokes about, I had to explain everything. And then I realized I haven't talked to him about the Kennedys. Oh my God. So like I gave him the primer of the family and the curse, the Kennedy curse, and how it was started by Joseph Kennedy, the patriarch, who basically sold his soul so his son could be the president for not even a full term, as it turned out, but still.
Well, you gotta build a dynasty. You gotta build a cursed dynasty.
You need a curse first. Yes.
Yeah, it's the monkey paw that he brought back from, I don't know, was he in Madagascar? Where was he? Where did he get the monkey's paw, Joe Kennedy? That he made the wish upon. Yes. I never know what to say about the Kennedys. Did you have a set tonight?
Yeah, we don't have to talk about the Kennedys. I had let's see, I got home around 6. I flew into Burbank.
Okay.
Thank you, God. And then I finished watching Love is Blind. I couldn't stop watching that show. It's a reality show. It's only 10 episodes. Mm-hmm. But you won't, you're already shaking your head in your snobby derision that I nice.
Oh no, I'm watching other crap. I have a thing on Amazon Prime that I'm watching, which is The Inventions of the 1900s with reenactments. Oh yeah, they're like, oh my God, the disposable razor was invented in 1903. Anyway, it's only fascinating to me. I'm enjoying it.
Sounds
heartily.
awesome.
But it does sound awesome. I had a set at the Hotel Cafe tonight.
Where's that?
It's in Hollywood near the Loft Hotel. That was why.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Emery Smith and Dana Donnelly and Pallavi Gunalan.
Oh, cool.
And it was her birthday. Yeah, it was a really fun little show. And so I the things that I didn't try or I fucked up at the at West Bend, I sort of, little tags, little things here and there. I don't have like a big piece I'm working on. I'm just sort of fluffing up other shit, I guess.
Maria told me that she was doing Lady to Ladies online show tonight. She did that Sunday at 5. And then at 6, she did an open mic in Pasadena that cost $5. And because she's doing James, she's doing James Corden on Thursday, she said.
Yeah, that's
cool. Yeah. And so I have a bunch of sets this week. I'm doing the Comedy Cottage on Fairfax on Thursday.
Oh, cool.
And I have a bunch of like one-nightery stuff. You getting up to look at your calendar?
I am. I'm in the kitchen.
I was like, sure, wander about.
I'm at the Pasadena Comedy Club, which is a new room on
It isn't the Ice House?
New spot.
Wait.
New spot.
No.
New building.
I got to triple check my dates here. I may have fucked up. But you know what? We'll see how that goes. Yeah, I'm in San Diego this weekend.
You are?
Yeah, I'm doing some resorts in San Diego. Yeah.
Our careers are so different and interesting. I want to do resorts in West Bend.
I'm doing a resort in San Diego. No,
I know. I want to do all of the things that you just did, even though
I know.
Much like you want to do all the things I just did.
Yeah. I can't, neither of us can say a gig without the other one going, I want that gig.
Right. I'm going to Seattle week after next. So I know, right?
I will be in San Francisco at the Punchline, the March 30th through April 2nd. My home club.
I know. I wish I could do it. I wish you would book me.
Well,
one day.
Yeah.
It might happen. I seem to be on like a 3-year rotation. She'll figure it out.
I'm sure.
Yeah, it's your home club. You're gonna have the time of your life. You're gonna go up into that weird staircase. That staircase is so dodgy.
No, it's not a staircase. A staircase spirals, right?
No, just a staircase is just a set of stairs. Yeah.
Oh, I guess it's a spiral.
It's a concrete
staircase that spirals.
Right.
Okay, but yes, that's the one where someone had taken a shit on the night of my album taping. And so
Don't forget to
that's why-
listen to Corset. Don't forget to listen to Laurie Kilmartin's new album, Corset. And
Jackie,
here, yeah.
I want to know how many streams we have of this podcast every week. And that
Okay.
should be the minimum amount of times our album was purchased.
Right. It's true. It's at Laurie
Okay.
Kilmartin -1 is Venmo. If you have only listened to it and not purchased it, you can
The
just
links
send
in
her
the episode
$10.
description.
That's right.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, I haven't gotten any numbers. I haven't gotten any money from it yet. Nothing. No sound exchange. No.
I've
purchase
done
nothing.
some. I've been doing Pandora ads to get people to come out to the.
Oh, I gotta do Pandora. I forgot. I stopped doing those. I gotta do that. Oh, that's
Yeah,
a no.
you can time them now. You can
Yes.
actually you can post date them and give them a run time.
Yeah,
and,
yeah,
and
yeah.
an out.
Too.
Which-
yeah.
Which you didn't used to be able to do that. So I think I did it for DC. I know I did it for DC. I hope I turned it off. I I hope there was an end because I'm doing Seattle and then I'm going to Humboldt and then I'm going to Ann Arbor and the Savage Henry Comedy Club up in Arcata, California is
So beautiful up there.
so gorgeous, so interesting. I've emailed the guy. I'm like, am I coming in a day early just in case there's a problem with the flight? Because I'm trying to figure it out, right? Like if I fly into Sacramento, it's a 5.5-hour drive.
Yeah.
If I fly into Arcata, I've heard that sometimes Avelo or whatever that airline is, which is also United, that sometimes they cancel the flight because there aren't enough people. But
how far is the drive from Portland? It might be.
No, it's also 5 hours.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. Well, I tried. It's 3.5 hours from Crescent City because I was thinking about flying into Crescent City, and then I was thinking about taking not a bus. No, I will not be taking a bus. A train, and that was 8 hours or 10 hours, and I was
What?
like, I don't
it's
want to.
10 hours. Ooh, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, that's tough. That's
Mhm.
a tough one.
But I
is it just
really
one
want to do
night?
it. It's 2 nights. It's Friday, Saturday, 4 shows
Mhm.
supposedly. I think
Oh, cool.
I think it's either 3 or 4 shows. And it was really fun. The one time I did it with Dash Kwiatkowski, and they drove. So we drove together, and
Up to
I was
Arcata?
already up to Arcata from San Francisco, and it was still
Oh.
another 6 hours.
Yeah.
And it was fun, but it was a long drive. But we had a really good time, and I like the theater if it's in that same theater that Dash and I did.
Why am I not working a gig in Northern California?
I don't know, but that's one you should also do. That is something.
What's it
Yes.
called?
Savage Henry,
All right.
the Humboldt County Comedy Club, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, make a note. Everybody, make a note. I think his name is Chris, the guy that books it, and so that's where I'm at. And Ann Arbor.
Weird. Yeah.
Ann Arbor is weird too, because I booked that myself as well instead of Gersh at TJ Barkwalter. And so I am flying into Detroit, renting a car, driving to Milwaukee, looking at my dad, and then flying out of Milwaukee. So
Right.
and so that's going to be another. I think it's either a 3 to 5 hour drive from Ann Arbor to Milwaukee. You just got to go around.
Mhm.
Be fun if I could take the ferry, like if the Lake Michigan
Across-
ferry. I think I'd have to.
wow.
I still have to drive to Traverse City or wherever the hell the ferry left from Michigan. Cracklin
you know
Rose on the.
Oh, my grandfather was a lifeguard at Lake Michigan. He was the captain of the lifeguards. And we have a picture of him in his lifeguard outfit. And he's with this other lifeguard. And it turns out that was the father of, oh no, it was the guy who was a columnist for the Chicago Sun-Times. His name was Cup. I don't know. He had like a Polish like Kapinski, but his nickname was, I think. And either it was him or his dad was I don't know. you know what? It's
And that was in Michigan?
The details are escaping me. No, I'm just saying you mentioned Lake Michigan, and I was like, oh, I have a semi interesting story that I actually can't finish. Let me just chime in.
Right. Was this in Michigan or in Wisconsin?
Chicago.
Oh, Chicago. Okay,
Yes.
Illinois.
Mhm.
And interesting. Well, I
Really?
can't visit his grave. That's what we know. I will not be able to visit wherever he's buried.
For some reason, I'm only interested in visiting the Irish people's, the Albany graves, you know?
Okay.
Their story's so compelling.
Mhm,
You know,
mhm.
it's like when you, I listened to Cast, you know,
Oh, the book?
Oh, 1619. Well, that did too, but 1619 Project. I listened to it and just, you know, like talking
Good
about
for
how
you.
there was promises of land to freed slaves and they got none of it, right?
Right.
But then I was thinking, like, the Luxembourg ancestors, it was like, oh, if you guys go to Wisconsin and clear the land, it's yours. They just fucking gave, like, so they had this incredible handout when they got here, even though they were also broke.
Right, but they were white.
And they were living with other white people, and it was just like, all right.
Did you hear that horrible thing about people fleeing Ukraine going into Poland? And they separated the Africans and the black people that were living in the Ukraine. They're like, black people stand in that line, and it was like 5 hours longer, 2 days longer. And just there's always time for racism, Laurie.
Jackie.
It's even in the middle of a war, someone's got time to insert some racism.
Oh, I think they make extra time in the middle of war. My ex that I used to do a ton of material about dating a Russian guy. He was actually from Ukraine, right? But people didn't know what Ukraine was, and it was the Ukraine. And for shorthand, I would just say Russian because this is like their late 90s, early 2000s. Americans are idiots, right? So Russian was an easier shorthand, a quicker image that you'd have in your head of somebody. Anyway, he's from Ukraine actually, and his family fled Ukraine. They fled the Soviet Union, but they lived in Odessa because they were Jews, and the anti-Semitism was so horrific in Ukraine that they fled. You know, they left.
Right.
So it's not like a, you know, I mean, I know what's happening in Ukraine is horrible, and our hearts go out to everybody, but they're just like, they, you know, they're just as shitty as a lot of other white people.
Yeah. Don't forget that Portland, Oregon is full of people who used to Shanghai, mostly people of color. Yeah. So, there's always time for racism, you guys. Let's try to change that. Hey, let's take another break, Kyle. Thank you. And we're back. So so when are you going to San Diego?
Well, I gotta double check. I think I wrote it wrong on the fridge, but let me look. Wait, you talk while I look on.
Okay, so it could be Thursday, you guys, that she's going to San Diego, but could be Friday. We don't know.
It's the 10th and the 11th. I'm at the Konakai Resort on Thursday the 10th, and at the 11th, I'm at the Mission Bay Resort.
I feel like those have pools.
You know,
but they're probably not swimming pools.
Thank you. You finally fucking remembered that you can't lap swim in a hotel pool. Thank you, Jackie.
Right, because it's shaped like a kidney. I know. Yes. I know. It's very hard to really do the apostrophe swim lap, and so I'm looking forward to being home this week, and yeah, I'm going to go to a doctor tomorrow. I'm going to get a physical. I haven't been in over 2 years.
Yeah.
And I'm also thinking about going to a dentist. I decided a couple of years ago that I was going to be dentist people, right?
Yes.
And so I haven't been back in about a year. And then, so I'm willing to let the medical professionals look at me and go, oh shit, and tell me how to get it together. but that is where my willingness. I'm trying to willing to be willing. If I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, man. Teeth and eyes. We forget about those because they're not covered, But
Mhm.
do was it Mike Siegel? I think he's
Oh.
he used to be from Chicago. He was from Chicago, but I think he lives in LA now.
Sure
But
does.
he was doing a cruise, and he had a retina detach on the
Oh.
cruise, which is like
Yikes.
almost guaranteed blindness, right? But
Yeah.
he got to some, he got
Port?
hair, and it was okay, but he had to like do some. He was posting about this on Facebook.
Mhm.
Like he had to be like face down for maybe like a couple weeks, to somehow to protect his eye. But I'm just saying, like, I have to go in, and maybe, I don't know, are your glasses just because you're over 50?
No.
Or are you nearsighted?
No,
Okay.
I've been blind since the day. What?
Are you nearsighted?
Yeah.
Okay, so you have to go into the doctor, right? Or you don't work?
Yeah, eye doctor. Yeah. I used to wear contacts all the time. And then this great story that people have heard, no doubt, when it happened, I was opening for Brian Regan and forgot my contacts and wore glasses at a theater gig. And I was like, oh, I'm never wearing contacts again. This is so comfortable.
Okay.
Yes. And I
Okay.
was like, I guess I'm going to be a glasses wearing stand-up comedian.
Well, here's the thing. The good thing about contacts is that to get a new prescription, you have to go to the eye doctor for an appointment, and they check out your eyes. So
Yeah.
That is a good thing, because otherwise you would never go back to the eye doctor if your glasses were working. It's just not a thing. It doesn't feel urgent unless you're on a cruise.
No, I go to the eye doctor. You're supposed to go every year. I probably go every 2 years just to get a new prescription. And they do the poof thing, and they check your eyeballs, and they make sure they're not rotting like grapes. Whatever. It's I once scratched my cornea, and it was terrible. I didn't enjoy it at all, but I went to an ophthalmologist, and this was in, I believe, the early 90s, and LASIK had just been invented, and my ophthalmologist was one of the guys on the ground floor of LASIK and in Minneapolis, and he was like, do you want to get LASIK? And I was like, I've always wanted to get LASIK since I was 12 and it was invented, but I'm scared. And he goes, oh, and it's 11 grand. And I said, oh, and I don't have 11 grand. So I didn't get LASIK, but now I kind of regret. My sister got LASIK. Doug Benson got LASIK. Everybody gets LASIK.
Guess what? I hate to be negative. You know this.
It's one of the things that is most known about you.
Ray Ellen. Do you know Ray Ellen? He's a comic in
New York.
New York. He's Aruba Ray. He books Aruba, right?
Oh, okay.
So Ray Ellen has a sister named Abby, and I remember her. I don't know if I've ever met Abby, but she wrote a piece for the New York Times about when LASIK goes wrong. And if you were to ever decide to Google and look up stories about LASIK going wrong, you would never let those people near your phone. Okay, right. So thank God you didn't get it, because if it does go wrong, your eyes will leak. Or wait,
forever.
Wait, you're gonna have to put eye drops in your eyes all day long for the rest of your life. There's no fixing it. They get very, very dry. And there's other things I forget that I was like, I could just put in contacts every morning. I'm good. That's fine.
Well, I mean, to some extent, I'm cool with glasses, and I don't need the LASIK now. There might be a day. I'd more likely to go. I want whoever made Kumail work out for 2 years. I would go to his boot camp.
Sure.
But I'd want to go somewhere where he would have to just yell at me for months. And then I would have to do Zoom shows. I've thought about it actually a little too much.
Right.
About how I want to go to like a Marvel fitness camp. If that guy had a Marvel fitness camp, I would want to go.
That would be cool. I think a lot of adults would sign up for that.
Yeah. And that guy would be psyched. And I don't know, there's probably vitamins involved. We don't know. But whatever it is, there could be steroids involved. There could be, God knows, there could be plastic surgery. There could be sculpting with a razor blade. I don't know what would be happening, but I would like someone to cook for me and then force me to do a workout, but in a way that doesn't make all my knee joints snap. You know what I'm saying? I've thought about this a little too much about how, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like a science
Heck yeah.
fiction thing.
I think it is a fantasy to just submit to somebody and then or a program, and you don't have to discipline yourself because they force it on you, but you would hate it. You would be so angry.
Oh, it might be. We don't know. How mad would I get? And how much would it cost? And how much would it eat into the fact that I one day might want to retire? So I might want to save a nickel. But
Oh,